Alright, over the last few weeks I've become well acquainted with King of Nothing, a commentary video essayist who has blown up over the last couple of years and reached new heights of success with his long documentary videos. He's garnered plenty of praise from fans and fellow YouTubers alike for his witty jokes and systematic breakdown of the people he lays a scope on, leaving outsiders like myself to have a generally good impression of him. But after a controversial video on Ethan Klein and some questionable conduct since its release, it prompted me to actually take a deeper look into his content, and I've left my video marathon not exactly impressed. What on the surface felt like a weak video has turned into only the most recent showing of a constant and pathetic pattern of behaviour, and it's only established to me that King of Nothing is a performative critic who constantly makes absurd and baseless arguments. He'll go as far as to defame the subjects of his videos and only gets away with it due to them being easy targets who have already done something wrong and are currently hated by a lot of people. You might think this guy's a solidified veteran from his multi-hour long videos, but instead he comes off as pretentious, disingenuous, self-centered,
and a massive hypocrite.
Make no mistake, despite making videos on some of the easiest topics you could ever cover, it's clear from both his public content and his private DMs that this guy cannot take what he dishes out. But it'll be a while before we get to those, so until then, sit back and let's enjoy the show. So who is King of Nothing? Well, behind the blank avatar, he's a 24-year-old YouTuber from New Jersey.
I'm from New Jersey, he's from New York, I think.
Before venturing to YouTube videos, King of Nothing worked as a car salesman for a year.
I was in the car business for a year, but at least I didn't have to go into student debt.
And had been selling real estate for 3 years before he got into YouTube.
Yeah, I sold real estate for 3 years, and I can assure you guys that nobody in the industry takes this guy seriously.
Rather than the long expose video essays that you may be used to on this channel, for example, King of Nothing takes a far more opinionated stance in his content whilst looking at the past of certain YouTubers. In fact, if I had to describe his content and style in one word, I'd say literal or exaggerative.
The guy is sitting there in his room, sober, as a grown-ass man making a diss track on a 13-year-old child. They post the undeniable evidence of those scams to the internet consensually and delete it later, but they expect people like me to not be able to find the evidence. How does someone consume oxygen on this planet for more than 20 years and then think about one of the worst events in all of human history and the millions of people that unjustly lost their lives based on something which those people had no control over, which is the race and religion which they were born into, but she wants to sit there and talk about all the positives of the experimentation they were doing?
In a genre like exposed pieces that's very based on objectivity and the facts, King of Nothing will constantly drum up his points by exaggerating them. This is a tactic that's usually fine and will hit hard when used properly on certain issues, but King of Nothing's problem is that he'll use it on everything he talks about. Like, thanks man, I really needed you to tell me how the Holocaust was bad by reading the Wikipedia page on what happened, or how making a joke about R. Kelly is bad because R. Kelly did bad things.
This was one of our top selling merch items of last year, by the way.
Profiting off of a man who's in jail for 30 years for trafficking. Real classy, Ethan and Hila. As much as they want to sit in their $10 million mansion and cry about social justice for all, it doesn't seem like they're very empathetic to the families of the victims of R. Kelly. You know, the countless women whose lives were ruined as a result of the actions of that one man. You know what R. Kelly is trying to do there in that song? Literally bring women from Ethiopia to America so he can commit some of the worst crimes on earth to those women and sometimes even imprison them in his home.
Bro, he made a joke about R. Kelly. It's not that deep. It's not that deep, bro. King of Nothing will also often cite exact definitions to hammer down his arguments.
That is the definition of homophobic. You see, I'm a feminist by definition, which means that I believe in absolute equality, as this is by definition an undisclosed advertisement. Okay, that is the definition of projection, because if you look up the definition of feminism, it is a very, very rational thing.
But again, he does it way too often, to the point of absurdity where he's showing everyone the definition of homosexual. homosexual.
Okay, I totally understand if that's not your thing, obviously it's a preference, but just being objective about it, if it's a woman doing it, that is not a homosexual act.
Hearing stuff like this, you can see why it's sometimes hard to tell whether King of Nothing is joking or not. I mean, does he really think that Ethan Klein making a joke about him wearing a feminist shirt is a genuine point against his views on feminism?
Remember guys, Ethan Klein is a self-proclaimed feminist who's apparently so passionate about feminism that at one point he even wore a shirt that says, "Dad, husband, feminist."
He said he wanted to debate a feminist.
Is it really a joke when he made a point about Ethan Klein being racist by playing a clip of the I Have a Dream speech?
Which, one, is incredibly hypocritical to progressive values, and two, perpetuates another cycle of racism when realistically, this was something that was supposed to stay in the 20th century.
I have a dream. My 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
75 years later.
Is a 6'5" black dude scary more than a 6'5" white dude?
Thank you, Martin Luther King. Of nothing.
I mean, just think of everything that your least favorite YouTuber has done, and multiply that by 10, and we have Ethan Klein.
Well, obviously, when he says that Ethan Klein is 10 times worse than your favorite YouTuber, that's clearly hyperbole. He's not worse than like a pedophile. Oh, he compared Ethan Klein to Colleen Ballinger in the conclusion.
And most importantly, he's certainly not any better than any of the people he criticizes or tries to cancel. Whether it's Leafy, Colleen Ballinger...
Well, okay, that could just be clear hyperbole again. Let's see what he says at the end of his second Logan Paul video.
That, combined with the crypto scams and mocking his best friend's religion, is in my opinion far worse than anything even EDP445 has ever done.
Well, I was actually coming out here to pick up a cupcake and then go back home.
Okay, so Ethan Klein is worse than Logan Paul, who's worse than EDP. Okay. But most of this goes ignored because King of Nothing does his job fine. He rarely takes a risk on a topic, looking at people who are widely hated and easy to cover, like Sniper Wolf, Jake Tran, Darman, Jake and Logan Paul, and Hassan Piker. And there's nothing wrong with covering these topics, but here he gives a veil to King of Nothing's terrible arguments. Without all the definitions and hyperbole, he has to separate himself from all the other H3 and Keemstar Exposed videos by priding himself as a scam detective, a sort of Dollar Tree Coffeezilla if you want. And you'd think someone with former experience in the financial sector would be pretty bang on with his assertions, but you would think wrong.
To a straight-up scam artist. To scamming his fans, Ethan Klein has been scamming his fans for years now, who he scammed. For the crypto scam? Look, it's one thing to scam your fans, and if the crypto scams weren't enough, when influencers like Ethan publicly scam their fans, he's a scammer.
Despite King of Nothing's supposed love for definitions, one of the definitions that he can never nail down is the definition of the word scam. Because whilst he's got that Oxford Dictionary on lock, he also provides a disclaimer in the description of about half his videos saying that scam is a subjective term that means something different to different people, which is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. And you're about to see exactly why King of Nothing puts this in his description. A couple of months ago, King of Nothing uploaded a 2-hour video attempting to try and take down Ethan Klein of H3H3, and it has gone down in history as a supremely terrible video. Ethan, along with many of the other subjects King of Nothing has covered, can be criticized for various actions, but for some reason, King of Nothing picks the shittiest points. Like this slam dunk on Kraken, a crypto platform sponsor that Ethan took for a while.
After the NFT debacle, Ethan then decided to funnel his fans' money into an even bigger scam, Kraken Crypto, which is a crypto trading platform which allows users to buy and sell crypto. And not only did Ethan bring the CEO of Kraken onto his show, he then went on to accept Kraken Crypto as an official sponsor for the podcast, and Ethan started shilling Kraken like his life depended on it.
Now, let me make it clear that Kraken is dodgy as fuck now. As King of Nothing shows, Kraken has settled lawsuits with the SEC for various reasons.
In February of 2023, Kraken also settled a $30 million lawsuit with the SEC because they failed to register the offer and sale of their crypto asset staking as a service program, where investors would transfer crypto assets to Kraken for staking in exchange for advertised annual investment returns as high as 21%. Then, just a few months later, in November of 2023, Kraken was officially charged by the SEC for operating as an unregistered securities exchange, where it's alleged that Kraken has deficient internal controls and poor record-keeping practices, which could potentially lead to losses for Ethan's fans and Kraken's customers. It's also alleged that they commingled their customer funds with their own, which is essentially what Sam Bankman-Fried is in jail for right this second. So Ethan basically promoted FTX.
So it's settled. Ethan Klein promoted a scam. Except for one thing. You see, despite painting this out as Ethan promoting a blatant scam, one important detail that was conveniently left out is that all these SEC lawsuits were done in 2023. Ethan's last promotion of Kraken was in 2021.
In all seriousness, where was Ethan's due diligence into this company before accepting Kraken as a sponsor?
Wow, I guess Ethan Klein should have just had the future-proof foresight to know that Kraken would be sued by the SEC 2 years after he last promoted it. The only thing that King of Nothing has going for him here is the Better Business Bureau reviews, which is not exactly the most accurate reading for companies.
Kraken is one of the shadiest crypto exchanges out there, and that is proven definitively by their 1.48 out of 5 Better Business Bureau rating.
Yeah, I don't know how definitive the system is when companies like PayPal, Google, and Microsoft are getting ratings lower than Kraken. Wow, there's a huge scam you got exposed, King of Nothing. It's a site called YouTube.com. For fuck's sake, Ridge Wallet, a company with the King of Nothing seal of approval, has a lower rating than Kraken on the Better Business Bureau.
And just to set the record straight here, I am not anti-sponsorship. I don't think anyone has ever gotten hurt by a Ridge Wallet sponsorship, for example. All I ask from
This is not a system worth taking into consideration, and this entire segment is horrendous for having such an oversight. And believe me, this is only the beginning. Let's take a look at the other so-called big scam that Ethan Klein has run, that being his H3 NFTs from early 2021. Before we get into this, I think it's worth at least clarifying what NFTs are, considering the discourse around them and all the scams has created such a blurry perception. At the root of it, the idea of an NFT is to be a digital collectible, like Pokemon cards or stamp collections. But at the end of the day, if you get what you paid for, and it's not advertised as some sort of future investment, it's not a scam. Why is this important? Well, in March 2021, H3 sold off a few NFTs to his fans, with the profits going directly to members of the team. The sale went smoothly and everything was fine, until King of Nothing piped up and said it was a scam. So what are his reasonable arguments to say why? Well, Ethan Klein sold the NFTs as part of a bit, and joking about your NFT sale is the same as Logan Paul's Dink Doink project.
So the first scam I want to cover is the H3 NFT collection, which Ethan seems to have really gotten away with, because I've never seen anyone calling him out for this. And I think the main reason why Ethan got away with this is because he pitched this to his audience as some sort of a joke, so he could make it seem like he was selling them ironically. Unfortunately, this just wasn't a joke at all. Jokes are typically free. What Ethan did with his H3 NFT collection is the exact same thing that Logan Paul did with his Dink Doink scam, where he pretended like he was shilling Dink Doink as a joke.
It's so dishonest to compare this to Dink Doink, especially considering the fact that the two were advertised through entirely different methods. Dink Doink was a separate cryptocurrency made entirely to bait in investors, whilst NFTs were and are always going to be tied to mainstream cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or Ethereum. Plus, the jokes surrounding Dink Doink were solely about Dink Doink and its nature in promoting it.
Suck my dink, bro.
Dink?
Dog's had a little bit of a suck my dink. Nah, it's freaking Dink Doink.
Oh my god. This Dink Doink shit are you talking about?
It's a crypto meme coin, and it's hilarious. It's fucking hilarious.
On the other hand, Ethan Klein's jokes are literally about him being a scammer. You'd think if he wanted to actually scam his audience, he'd be far more legitimate than saying this shit.
I feel like I'm on the BitConnect side of selling. I'm gonna make so much money right now from you fucking suckers. I'm gonna be straight up BitConnect!
The H3 NFT project was incredibly upfront. Even if it was a joke at the center of it, they just advertised these NFTs, disclosed that the profits from them would be going directly to members of the team, and sold them. So again, where's the scam? Where's the sleight of hand deceiving viewers? Well, apparently King of Nothing's big proof is that Ethan rug pulled this NFT because the value has fallen. But Ethan never said these NFTs were a long-term project or investment. In fact, he never mentioned the word investment in his promotion at all. But King of Nothing blatantly lies and says he did.
because they were sold to their fans as investment opportunities. There is no punchline. No one has bought one of these NFTs in 3 years. So these investments, which he sold to his fans...
I cannot stress how much of an obvious lie this is on King of Nothing's end. He makes his point over and over, trying to justify this lie by going to semantics and saying, well, what exactly is an NFT? His point here in this little overlooked text box is that, well, NFTs are all investments because everyone knows they can just screenshot the NFTs for free, so they paid money for it with the intention of having a go up in value. Again, that's not even true. This is like King of Nothing asking why you would want to collect rare Pokemon cards if you can just print them out at home. People buy NFTs because they want to own these images, they see a value in owning them. I'm not going to act like I agree with NFT customers, their ideas or their way of thinking, but King of Nothing is essentially saying that Ethan Klein's a scammer because he sold NFTs. And let me ask one more question. If they're scammers, where the fuck are the complaints from the buyers?
Also, even just by the, like, let's pretend for a second that it wasn't ironic. Let's just say we were selling these NFTs. What's the scam?
No, there's no scam. It's quite literally not, it's not a pump and dump. It's not a scam. We put these up for bid and people bid on them. And then they got the NFT. It's literally like an exchange.
They bought a product.
An exchange, yes.
Ethan has completely stopped talking about this NFT project, and
was
he
like
also
4 years
hasn't
ago.
But it's not a project. It was a bit. It was
no
like
project.
a segment. I mean, this is just rotten.
refunded a single person who he scammed.
Refunded? Scammed? This is, I'm sorry, but like, dude. Okay, this fucking guy needs to, I'm gonna talk to you, King of Nothing. We're gonna talk.
It's a
Be in
joke.
touch.
With all this in mind, it won't shock you to know that King of Nothing has regularly failed when he researches other things outside of scams. In fact, it can go as far as to where I believe he purposely omits context to make his subjects look worse. During his H3 video, he doesn't even mention Ethan's apology for the controversy with Cutie Cinderella, and despite basically reusing Gokunaru's talking points from his H3 video, he barely acknowledges Ethan Klein's response to those talking points in any way. Oh, but don't worry guys, Ethan and Gila Klein are still building a parasocial relationship borderline cult by selling their merch.
Making the amount of content that they make is a calculated move that they've made in order to deepen those parasocial bonds with their audience. And when someone develops a parasocial relationship with their favorite creator, they start to develop things like the illusion of friendship with the creator. And that leads to people being more inclined to doing irrational things, like buying a $150 hoodie or two, or maybe even an NFT.
Yeah, I don't really think making merch or announcing your pregnancy is directly contributing to parasociality. I feel like a better argument could be made for like someone who's like selling their fucking baby pictures to their fans like Dream. During a segment on Ethan Klein taking a DraftKings sponsor, King of Nothing says that Ethan lied about when the DraftKings sponsor was taken, saying,
Next, Ethan says the ad was like 6 years ago, which again is a lie. That clip is from 2023, and the clips of him promoting DraftKings are both from 2020. In what world could a 3-year difference be considered like 6 years ago?
Holy shit guys, he said it was 6 years ago when it was 4 years ago. Ignore that he literally corrected himself later on, something that King of Nothing conveniently admits in text. This is some huge breaking news. When he covered True Geordie for supposedly Islamophobic jokes, King of Nothing tried to make it out as if True Geordie was only famous for covering the Logan Paul Forest controversy to support his argument.
Not only is the joke poor, this is incredibly hypocritical coming from this guy of all people. True Geordie is only famous for getting sad and angry at Logan Paul for recording a dead person in 2018.
Find a dead person in the suicide forest?
Literally, if he did not make that one video, we would not know who this guy is, and you wouldn't be watching this video. That video got him 4 million views.
Again, it may shock you to know that King of Nothing doesn't do his research. True Geordie built his fanbase off his coverage of football and him being a Newcastle fan. He was known before the Logan Paul Forest video, and if you take a look at his channel, you'll see videos older and far more viewed than the Logan Paul one, covering boxing and MMA and having people on his podcast. This is again just obscuring important facts that totally change how the argument is viewed, and that's just scratching the surface. His Keemstar video is an entire section dedicated to Basherverse, a Minecraft YouTuber who Keem exposed on his show. And again, anyone who has any knowledge of the situation knows that this section takes out so much context to turn it against Keem.
Just to give you guys some context, Basher got arrested when he was 18 for getting with a 15-year-old. That is harassment, and some of it is just straight up slander, like this video, which is still up today, years after his death by the way, titled Basher's 13-year-old victim.
It's possible that he was 20 and he was 13.
Here, he falsely claims in writing that Basher admitted he had relations with a 13-year-old girl.
When Basherverse first reported about his past, his retelling was often inaccurate, inconsistent, and unclear, which left a lot of people, including Keemstar, pretty confused or misled. That claim of him being 20 is based on the fact that Basher posted newspaper clippings showing the arrest, which stated he was 20 at the time, and the claim that Basher interacted with a 13-year-old was given to Keemstar by Skydoes Minecraft and Jobless Garrett, two people who had employed Basher and had been living in the same house as him. So it makes sense why Keemstar would run with this, because of the evidence he had seen and what he had been told by YouTubers who, at the time, were considered reliable and close to Basher.
All we've ever reported was that Skydoes Minecraft said the victim was 13, that the Zombie Unicorn said the victim was 13, and based on these people and their reputations, you know, my personal opinion was that you were lying.
On March 26, 2016, Keemstar had an interview with Clara on Drama Alert to talk about an emotional twitlonger Basher had made the night before. In it, Basher revealed that the person who started the original rumor all that time ago that claimed he raped a 13-year-old was none other than Jobless Garrett. As the story goes, Skydoes Minecraft had given him the job to do a background check on Basher for Bam Lounge, during which he found his arrest record. Garrett then called up the county clerk's office to confirm this, which is when they allegedly told him the now infamous rumor. Garrett then told this to the rest of the Bam Lounge members, which is what kicked off this entire saga.
And the accusation that we now know probably isn't true about the 13-year-old girl being raped twice by him, it seems to always go back to Jobless Garrett being the one making that claim. Right. Do you know anything behind the scenes of if he actually was told that by the police or if it was made up?
I have talked to him in real life, like at a face party about a year ago. And I confronted him about this, and he to this day still says that is what the police told him.
King of Nothing is making this really dishonest implication that Keemstar just exaggerated the ages for no reason, which is just not true. The only criticism of this entire section that holds up somewhat well is that Keemstar should have removed his slanderous videos, but that kinda goes out the window when you realize it's coming from King of Nothing, who's been told multiple times to delete his slanderous H3 video and is instead just wanting to move on from the whole controversy, stealthily removing credit from the description because the people he credited thought his video was a garbage fire. More on that much later, but speaking of, let's get back to that H3 video. During mid to late 2022, Ethan Klein would also have this bit on a show where he would show guests a prolapsed asshole for shock value. It's kinda like when your mate shows you 2 girls 1 cup, it's humor through disgust. But of course, Sister of Nothing would never have such incredulous jokes.
On another note, let's take a look at what the content creator Brittany Broski had to say about her appearance on the H3 podcast.
What's the nastiest thing you've seen on the internet?
I recently went on fucking H3 and Ethan showed me a video of 2 prolapsed assholes rubbing against each other.
Thanks for telling me the definition of prolapse, man.
So that's actually really awesome that you asked that because I had an answer ready to go.
Yeah.
As you just heard there, Ethan has this really bizarre habit of asking his guests awkward relationship questions or showing them adult content live on his show. I have to keep this PG, but for example, Ethan brought this adult actor named Hunger FF onto his show and had him show off some of his talents to his guest at the time, Howie Mandel.
Just go ahead and do it right now?
Yeah, just go ahead.
Everything you requested.
Now, Howie,
let me take off my shirt. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh. Oh no! No! No!
He's probably done that exact same bit more than a dozen times at this point, and the reason why he constantly does really weird stuff like that is because Ethan and his podcast are essentially just the dollar store version of The Howard Stern Show.
Now, I can't believe I'm saying this, but King of Nothing is purposely omitting context out of the prolapsed asshole segment. The reason why this joke came about and the reason why he showed it to Howie Mandel is because Howie accidentally posted a picture of a prolapsed asshole to TikTok.
When my friend Neil bent over, this happened. Does somebody know, is this COVID related? And if it is, what do we do about it? How?
Now, you could try and give King of Nothing the benefit of the doubt that he didn't know about this context, but I don't buy that. In fact, out of all the examples here, I believe that King of Nothing purposely left that context out to make Ethan look worse. And the reason why I believe that is because when King of Nothing shows his clip of Brittany Broski talking about going on H3, he leaves out the rest of the podcast clip where she explains the entire thing.
What's the nastiest thing you've seen on the internet?
I recently went on fucking H3 and Ethan showed me a video of two prolapsed assholes rubbing against each other. So that's actually really awesome that you asked that because I had an answer ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we probably could watch Perverse Family right now.
Like, I mean, like, pull it up.
I'm kidding.
Pull it up.
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
pull it up. Do not pull it up.
I mean, it was like, I haven't felt that jarring, like, holy shit.
Why did he show you that?
Hey, that's a great question.
He just out of nowhere?
Well, no, there is a backstory. You know Howie Mandel's TikTok? That
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
What was that one again? He just looked at the camera like, look at this prolapse.
No, he said, is this COVID related? And if so, what do we do about it? And the fact that he knew how to use the green screen feature on TikTok to be like, hey guys, what do you think about this?
Man,
why was his
that
asshole
was
prolapsed?
not Howie's asshole. I'm going to ask Google right now.
It was. I swear to God.
Why was his asshole prolapsed?
I don't know what he's doing in his spare time. But they had Howie on the show and showed him that video.
Of the two rubbing together?
What did he say?
He's like, how the fuck did you get that?
He couldn't look away. He even showed me the clip. And he's watching it and he goes, oh my God.
Bro, I'm watching. This is not Howie's butthole.
Yeah, that shocked me to my core. And I haven't, had a visceral response to a video online like that in a real
Rubbing together is crazy. Hell yeah.
Yeah, they showed me that video and Ethan's just cracking up. And I'm like electroshocked out of my body and then back into my body because that was like, holy fuck. And of course he can't show it, but oh my God, I wish he could.
Yeah.
I wish he could.
You guys already know these grifters cannot hide from me. I will research day and night. And as a fan of comedy, I at the very least have to acknowledge the fact that that was an attempt at humor.
King of Nothing is an unbearably lame performative asshole in almost all of his videos. This is a factor we've barely touched on for now, but it's one that's been kinda obvious if you've been paying attention throughout this video. King of Nothing comes across as a commentary channel who fell into a coma in 2016 and woke up last year, meaning that in his videos we get some huge revelations. Did you guys know that in 2008, Keemstar said mean things on Halo? Well, King of Nothing is here to show you the truth.
If posting that video doesn't prove to you that Keem genuinely hates his fans, then nothing will, especially given the fact that Keem has already admitted that he wants his fans to suffer and live horrible lives.
I've been laughing the last hour that your mom died of cancer. I don't give a fuck about any of you. I am in this for your money and your money only. That's all I care about. Alright? I only do this show for money. That's it. Alright? I don't do it to entertain people. That's just a fucking scam. I don't give a fuck about any of you. I really hope you die of cancer. I hate every single one of you.
I want you guys to know that instead of bringing up points like the fact Keemstar claimed a million sub YouTuber was a pedophile with zero evidence and used that as grounds to dox him, King of Nothing felt it was imperative to put in that clip where Keemstar said you should kill yourself in Halo or something. Furthermore, did you know that Logan Paul filmed a dead man in Japan?
Filming someone who isn't alive for views on YouTube is not just a bad idea, it's absolutely reprehensible.
King of Nothing just wanted to let you guys know that he actually doesn't support filming dead bodies. And last but not least, did you guys know that Sniper Wolf is a misogynist? Wait, what?
Now, I know this might sound kind of weird to hear, but I genuinely think that Leah is a straight-up misogynist. Not in the traditional sense like our friend Pearl.
I recently decided that women should vote. I don't think women should vote. I don't think women should vote. Lord Jesus.
You should vote.
What? No, I shouldn't. No, seriously.
But by definition, I think that Leah has a dislike, contempt, or ingrained prejudice against other women. Based on her actions, I think that Leah looks at other women as some sort of a competition for herself. And I'm only saying that because Leah has a consistent track record of straight up bullying other female content creators.
King of Nothing, I don't mean to assume that you haven't been around women in your life, but women fight with each other. That does not make them misogynists. Sniper says this shit because she's fucking insecure.
Leah clearly has some sort of deep-rooted hatred towards women as a whole, dating back more than 10 years, and it's disgusting.
Accusing people of certain ists and isms is like King of Nothing's crack cocaine. He just has this cerebral addiction to it. He can't even go a few minutes making fun of someone without coming back down to earth and trying to make some huge major point.
Yes, my man did just show his glizzy on a public Instagram story that he posted at the age of 41. And somehow, that's not even the worst part. The worst part, by far, is the growling. I mean, I don't know what he was trying to accomplish by growling like that, but it's kind of giving me some misogynist vibes.
Now you see why his exaggeration is so potent. It's meant to reinforce moral grandstanding on clips that don't even deserve it, but King of Nothing is making such an outrageous point that it feels weird to defend it. Let me give you an example. During the promotion for the first Creator Clash, the YouTuber Dad went on the H3 podcast to discuss his fight and talked about the loss of his girlfriend. On a later podcast with Anthony Fantana before Creator Clash 2, Ethan talked about Dad and said this.
Honestly, like, truth be told, I would not want to fuck with Dad. Like, Dad,
I would
like,
not get in the ring with Dad.
Knowing his, even at the weight that I am, knowing his background, he's faster than you. You can't keep up with that speed. He's a dancer. He's gonna have an
he's
endless,
got insane endurance, and
yeah,
also he's a little crazy
stamina. Yeah, and he's definitely got a screw loose.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like he came on our show to promote his fight against Matt, and he was just like,
he's an animal.
My life is a tragedy. I'm fighting for my dead girlfriend. I was like, whoa, dude, I don't want to fuck. I don't fuck with.
Yeah, you don't want a dead girlfriend punch.
No.
Nobody wants a dead girlfriend punch to the face.
No, but I would pity anyone who gets in the ring with him, dude. That would be a fucking disaster for anybody.
King of Nothing responded to it by saying this.
Now, I'm no expert in maturity. In fact, I'm actually quite immature.
I'm retarded.
But when I think about maturity, the last thing that would ever come to my mind is a 40-year-old man who openly mocks the death of other people's girlfriends who he personally knows.
This feels like a gross mischaracterization of a clip that's really not that bad. It's a clip that looks more like he's praising him or respecting him. And if you don't agree with how he said it, you can at least say that he went about saying the right thing the wrong way. King of Nothing, however, just adds about 10 liters of the moral high ground onto there, and this guy's moral compass is all over the place. One minute he'll say the true Geordie is an Islamophobe because he made jokes about Andrew Tate converting to Islam.
To see a grown man like True Geordie, who is 35 years old, get in front of a camera and blatantly insult 1/4 of the world's population using harmful Islamophobic stereotypes is truly disgusting.
And then he'll turn around and say that, hey, actually making an edgy joke doesn't make you racist.
Now, is this a joke? 110%. He's not sitting there being genuinely racist. It is an attempt at humor, and obviously I don't think he hates Asian people as a result of this one clip.
He'll often be quick to label people as racist or sexist or homophobic based on jokes they've made.
And speaking of vile, Ethan is also racist, in my personal opinion, which is obviously very hypocritical.
But then he'll turn around and be like, well, you can't really be racist if you're multiple races, right?
This is exactly what I mean. Here's an article written by the Daily Beast, which claims that Sneeko is a racist. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you know I do not like this dude. But to claim that he is racist is insane. He's like 4 different races.
He'll say that Ethan Klein's crafting a parasocial relationship with his fans by making content.
Making the amount of content that they make is a calculated move that they've made in order to deepen those parasocial bonds with their audience. And when someone develops develops a parasocial relationship with their favorite creator, they start to develop things like the illusion of friendship with the creator, and that leads to people being more inclined to doing irrational things, like buying a $150 hoodie or two, or maybe even an NFT.
But then I'll say that we all sell ourselves online, it's all fine.
But as YouTubers, we do sell ourselves and our content to the general public to try and make more money, and that's totally fine.
One of King of Nothing's go-to points is to think of the kids. Not literally, of course, that arc might come later, but King of Nothing loves to preach about how YouTubers promote gambling to their child audience.
And instead of selling energy drinks, he's now shilling gambling to his child audience on Snapchat, are still the human equivalent of literal trash cans for producing income by promoting gambling to their child audience, is that it's predominantly used by children. So I had to make this video for the youth and inform them about who this guy really is.
Yeah, this is a pretty shit point to make in my opinion. I'd understand if it was levied towards channels that are made for kids, like the next Cocomelon videos with baby betting it all on black, or Stampy makes a video with a Bet365 sponsor, but the YouTubers that King of Nothing usually criticizes don't orient their content to children. You cannot directly control who watches your videos and what they do, and thus I don't think the responsibility lies on YouTubers for taking a gambling sponsor. Just as I don't think it's King of Nothing's responsibility if one of his targets is harassed due to his videos. The responsibility should lay on parents to keep an eye on their children and keep any age verification or credit card information out of reach for them. Streamers didn't sign up to become fucking childminders. But of course, the argument never stops there. Now we're talking about Idubbbz's wife Anissa, and how she's knowingly exploiting the addiction of lonely men and children by doing OnlyFans.
They lack respect for themselves, and they have no moral compass, because OF is funded strictly by literal basement-dwelling incels who are most likely very addicted to the consumption of adult content, and it's indefensible to knowingly take advantage of people who we all already know are at the lowest of the lows in society, all just to make some quick, easy cash. And the statistics show that the largest consumers of adult content is actually little boys aged 12 through 17, which is disgusting, especially when you take into account that OF intentionally does nothing to verify the ages of their customers so they can make more money. And that's not even mentioning the dozens of peer-reviewed studies proving the inarguable net negative impact that excessive consumption of adult content has on not just children, but adults as well. And as you would expect, those who buy OF are not the people who use it in moderation. So by making a video with the sole intention of defending sex work, Ian is proving to us all that he's anti-consumer, anti-science, pro-addiction for children, and pro-basement-dwelling incels.
Again, if the argument was about porn sites overall, you could probably have a good point here, but King of Nothing is actively attributing malicious motives and intent to exploit children upon Anissa. Really? Are you fucking serious?
Ian is proving to us all that he's anti-consumer, anti-science, pro-addiction for children.
Man, this King of Nothing guy seems to see children everywhere he goes. Maybe the arc is already starting. Or maybe it's because his idea of a joke is 3rd grade reading level.
And it's certainly not because I'm a good person. In fact, I am horrendous. I'm the guy who consistently team kills my teammates in Fortnite.
Following King of Nothing's catastrophe of a video on H3, many people inside the commentary community, including his peers, were all asking the same question.
Why would he leave this up? That's my, because he's stupid. Why not delete it after 3 months, a month? We should not be able to.
I don't know. He's stupid, and
he should have made this a members only exclusive.
True.
People like Nicholas Diorio and Turkey Tom, who have been critics of Ethan Klein in the past and people who were cited in the description of King of Nothing's video, were quick to disavow this content dumpster fire after watching it.
I'm convinced that this guy is either a bad actor, a legitimate malicious fucking person, or his videos are an amalgamation of Reddit posts he's read, and he's basically Reddit verses, but he markets himself as a commentary channel. That's the only way that this could make sense to me, because it feels like the video's at odds with itself. It feels like it's written by 15 different people who have different opinions on Ethan Klein, and it's just all mashed together. And when you ask this guy why things are wrong, he doesn't actually know the answer because he hasn't done the actual research.
Eventually, the video got all the way to its subject, Ethan Klein, who reacted to the NFT segment on his podcast and issued a lawsuit threat for King of Nothing's borderline defamatory claims.
What Ethan did with his H3 NFT collection is the exact same thing that Logan Paul did.
No. What? No, not at all. Right?
With his Dink Doink scam,
No,
where he pretended
what?
like he was shilling Dink.
Okay.
You're
that's
insane.
That's defamation. That's actually fucked up.
Yeah,
Say
you're-
that. Dude, that bro.
Not remotely comparable.
That's fucked up to even lie about, dude. Like, what are you doing? That's
yeah.
defamation, man. I'm sick. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sick of fucking people just maliciously lying. It shouldn't be. It's not okay to do that. I mean, there's laws against it. That's why there's laws. You know?
Uh-oh, king of nothing.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
King of paying me.
Uh-oh.
For defamation. I'm saving the soundbite so I can send it to my lawyer.
Keep an eye on your mailbox, king
Hold
of
on.
nothing.
King of downfall. King of putting a lien on all of his income for the next 20 years.
Since then, King of Nothing has not issued any response to Ethan, which is understandable considering the possible legal threat hanging over his head, but his response to his peers within the commentary community has been nothing short of cowardly. Removing those who he originally credited because they criticized him, playing Whisper Down the Alley with Boblax to respond to the whole thing about comparing the H3 NFTs to Dink Doink, it's all been very lame. On May 6th, 2024, he would make an announcement to his members-only Discord server, stating that he would be deleting it because he didn't want to deal with moderating it. He also adds a little message saying, "Bro, I could not possibly care less about what Nick Diorio says about my video. If anyone wants to view his tweets, please feel free to check out his Twitter. Don't lie to me, King of Nothing. You care about what Nick Diorio says about your video."
I'll still never forget the time Xander Hall watched the first sentence in one of my videos and was like, "Dude, this guy's trying to sound like Nick Diorio, bro. Have you noticed all the commentators? They want to sound like Nick Diorio." I mean, I will say though, I wish I sounded like Nick. I mean, I think he has a cool accent. I feel like if I did it, I'd have to do it. I'd want to do it the best. I wouldn't want to
fully. Yeah.
If Nick is making a video, I don't really think I can top Nick.
Alright, before King of Nothing says I'm being dishonest, the real reason why he's now become the scorned lover of Nick Diorio is because when Nick was tweeting about how bad his video was, King of Nothing sent him a Discord friend request for a private conversation. Nick promptly turned it down. Sadly, my offer for a private conversation has gone unanswered, but considering the messages I've seen, maybe I should count myself lucky. Maybe if I managed to get into contact with him, it'd end up with King of Nothing threatening to beat me up at VidCon like he did with Smaggledaggle. Yes, I'm not joking, this actually happened. So, a bit of backstory. When Turkey Tom and King of Nothing were friends, Tom gave him the mod role in his YouTube livestream chat, and when Tom reacted to King of Nothing's video, his chat was mostly mixed between agreeing and disagreeing. But then came the chatter Shelby502, who really went ahead and crossed the line, with such heinous messages containing fiery language like King of Nothing is reaching, and power dynamics. This of course was just too much for King of Nothing to handle, his hands getting sweaty as he read the message, his eyes growing from anxiety to fury, and he would snap back by banning this chatter. You see, King of Nothing, that's how hyperbole works. Now, Smaggledaggle, who is Tom's head mod and another person who frequently appears on his streams, called them out for banning chatters.
Smaggle says King of Nothing hiding negative comments. I don't think he's doing that. there's no evidence for that. Okay, that's not true.
This prompted King of Nothing to immediately hop into Smaggle's DMs and give him a quick call. During this call, King of Nothing said that he banned this chatter because he was in a bad headspace, and his father had passed away recently. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and mock King of Nothing for the death of his father. My sympathies go to him and his family, but there is something inherently scummy in bringing up personal issues to deflect from criticism of your online videos as if it's a shield. It discourages people from criticizing his video because it makes them uncomfortable. I think it's manipulative, and you know who would agree with me? King of Nothing.
Look, I fully empathize with the fact that he's lost his mother. That is absolutely horrific. I wouldn't wish it upon anyone, and I truly feel bad for him. But what does this have to do with you saying this?
I would gladly blow myself up if I could take that fucking shitbag with us.
Because although I'm sure everyone feels bad about him losing his mom, it really just seems like he's trying to gain sympathy points from his own audience. But what does this have to do with you saying this?
It's my belief that King of Nothing has been using this personal tragedy to get his most vocal critics off his back. I believe this is exactly why he sent Nick Diorio that Discord friend request. Now, having been told this news, Smaggle didn't take this seriously. From his perspective, he had just seen King of Nothing bring up his dad's death as an explanation for why he banned a YouTube chatter. He thought King of Nothing was joking or doing a bit, and so he laughed. This really set off King of Nothing, turning him into an internet tough guy, and I would be remiss if I didn't include these messages. Lamau, no matter what words you say, you're still gonna be the way you are tomorrow, and you're gonna have to suffer that way for the rest of your life. LOL! If that's not a joke, I don't know what is. You unironically have a sub 70 IQ. Why are you trying to own me right now? You are molding. Buddy, I told you my dad died 2 days ago, and you laughed. Am I supposed to be happy about that? Acknowledge how retarded you are. You would never, in a million years, say that to my face. You wouldn't be alive. You're victim weight right this second, and you'll be that way for the rest of your life. You are a victim in any situation.
Hey commentary community, I'm outside right now touching some grass.
You're a victim. Stay indoors so no one can hurt you. Mad? Come to VidCon, I'll show you mad. Or are you scared and you're gonna hide behind the computer screen? Man, this is wild. I can't believe this is the voice that sends a 100k YouTuber into a conniption.
So I just want to start off with this. As you can tell, I'm very autistic, and I just want to let you guys know that if I slip up and say the R word, I have the pass. So just so we're all clear on that.
Also, why does he keep calling him a victim? Was he planning on doing something more to Smaggle at VidCon than beating him up? By the way, you might think come to VidCon and I'll show you mad was an empty threat, but no. King of Nothing has actually gone to VidCon. He went last year.
And I only know this because, like, I've become friends with him, particularly, like, through hanging out with him at VidCon, but you guys have seen my streams before, like...
And he would have gone this year had it not been for the drama surrounding his H3 video. And I'm sure Smaggle is thanking the Lord for that. Whilst I was editing this video, King of Nothing, after weeks of silence, posted to his community tab, congratulating himself on getting that 100k YouTube play button, with a Mario Fedora tip image attached to it. The post reads, "Hello friends, I just got this plaque for hitting 100k, which is absolutely incredible. Honestly, I never thought the channel would grow to the size it's currently at now, because there was a time when all my videos were getting like 2 to 100 views, so seeing the channel grow so much since then has been truly amazing. I want to say thank you all so much for watching the videos and subscribing. Without you guys, I'd probably be on OnlyFans by now, which would not be ideal. Yeah, we know, King of Nothing, you'd be pro-addiction for children then."
Ian is proving to us all that he's anti-consumer, anti-science, pro-addiction for children.
Due to some personal issues unrelated to YouTube, and the fact that I got another puppy, which has been a major pain in the butt by the way, and the complexities and depth of the topic at hand, there will be a bit of a delay on the next video unfortunately. It is going to be quite long, most likely longer than the last video, but no promises as of now. I am working on it every day, and trying to make each video better than the last, so I would estimate about another month and a half before it's done and I can release it. A few things. First of all, those personal issues are presumably what we mentioned in the Smaggle DMs. Also, his next video, that complex issue that he's discussing, is a video on Andrew Tate. Again, King of Nothing following the trend of just covering the most universally hated people. Of course, this community post gathered a lot of comments from people including Nicholas Diorio to take down or address his terrible H3 video, and his response was amazing. The video's staying up, and unless you want to send me 10k in Ethereum, there's literally nothing you can do besides comment and complain. LOL. The fact that you, a grown man who's almost 500 pounds and factually addicted to Twitter, think you can dictate what I do with my video or my time is absolutely delusional and proves how disgustingly terminally online you are. Man, the switch up from, "I wish I had Nick Diorio's accent, I would never cover a topic he's covering," to "fuck this fat piece of shit" is so drastic it's giving me secondary whiplash. I have never made a response video of any sorts because it takes time away from my actual videos, and that will not change unless something is in dire need of a response. If me working on my next video for my fans to watch is hiding to you, then once again, you are delusional. My video has 2.5 times more likes than dislikes, even after multiple raids. No, it's not raids, people just think our video is fucking awful. And it still has significantly more likes and views than your own video on Ethan, so I'm totally content with the reception. Anyone is more than welcome to have their own personal opinions, but to think you can tell me what I should or shouldn't do is ridiculous. So, let me get this straight. Your response to people saying you maliciously slandered Ethan Klein is, pay me 10k in Ethereum and fuck you.
So he's more than happy to bully others, but when he gets obliterated in front of millions, suddenly the guy can't even engage with the very behavior that he has spent years perpetrating.
Originally, I had a much more generous conclusion written for this video, but having seen this community post and this response, I think it's very obvious that King of Nothing's motive is not morals, but money and attention. This is the type of commentator who will get obvious facts wrong and lie about his subjects, or exaggerate to the point of idiocy, all to make money off moral outrage. And it's all overlooked because the people he chooses to cover are widely hated. What's annoying about his videos is that there are genuine reasons these people are hated, but for some reason King of Nothing picks such terrible arguments that I have to defend these people. To steal a joke from Fantano, it's like King of Nothing went to YouTube Drama's Orphanage of Points and saw these starving, weak arguments that no one's used in years, so he decides to feed them by giving them a home on his videos. And then he turns around and brags to you as if he's Sherlock Holmes incarnate.
But as I've clearly demonstrated in this video, but that's just my opinion, Tech Lead, if you're watching this, you can DMCA me, but that's just going to get more and more attention to my video destroying you using facts and logic, posting the proof of him lying to the internet, knowing for a fact that one day someone like me would debunk it. To put it frankly, Ethan has become a problem that I now have to deal with.
Dread it, run from it, destiny arrives all the same. And now it's here. Or should I say?
As you can see from this drawing, Your Honor, I have depicted myself as the Chad lawyer detective, and the defendant has been depicted as a just a wormed drawing.
In Ethan's case, what I've presented here is a clear pattern of behavior, anyone calling him out for this. And I think the
I wonder why.
Oh, I wonder why.
After 100 Ethan hate videos, I wonder why you're the first idiot to try to make this argument.
I think King of Nothing sees himself in the Content Cop series. He uses the same music and he has the same sort of format, a long video trying to do a character breakdown of a popular and widely hated individual. But despite having made almost 3 hours of content on iDubbbz, he never understood that Content Cop wasn't good because of reactionary arguments based entirely on subjective opinion and shock value. It's because it freed itself from the responsibility of moral grandstanding and looks at everything in a more objective view based on their character, criticizing these people for being manipulative, egotistical, greedy, and liars. At the end of the day, when he's not compiling his video with points that other more talented people have already made, King of Nothing's really more akin to Leafy. I mean the jokes, the hyperbole, the complete bullshit points, repeating himself across multiple videos, and saying literally and bringing up the rage all the time.
Literally homosexual.
Plus, look at these titles, man. The most toxic man on YouTube, the most evil man on YouTube. Put these in all caps with a stupid thumbnail, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. King of Nothing wants to come across to you as if he's the pinnacle of morality and integrity on YouTube, but in reality he's far from that. Despite making hour-long documentaries on others, he'll blow up his Discord server and ignore criticism, or use personal issues as a shield in private to defend stupid actions. This probably could have all been avoided if he just accepted the L and took down his video, and now he's becoming another topic in the drama cycle that he's living off of. It's only a matter of time until this guy makes a video on someone who's far more liked, and people start to really notice how delusional and malicious he really is. And until next time...
I don't know who Toastify is though, but shout out to you. I've always liked him actually.
Walk in the room and I know they all know, and if they don't know, put on a little show. Leave some of those cold dead in the snow. Ice cold like a brain freeze when you say, whoa, when well as this green, you always gotta go. Keep your mind real clean, keep your pockets out the blow.
That's the type of man that will steal, cheat, and lie his way to the top.